Product reviews are a great way to make money online without having a single subscriber or any existing traffic. In the past year alone, I've made more than $300,000 from product reviews. They're also a great way to grow an affiliate program and make sure that your brand is well represented in search results. So, how do you write a product review as an affiliate? And how do you get affiliates to write them for you? Well, that's what today's episode is all about. So listen up, because I'm spilling all my secrets in this episode. Welcome to the Affiliate Guy podcast. If you want to grow your income, serve your tribe, and enjoy all the benefits of affiliate marketing and having your own affiliates, you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me today. Let's get started. So today we're talking about product reviews, one of the linchpins of affiliate marketing, one of the original ways that people made money as an affiliate. And we're going to talk about it in two different ways. We're going to talk about it from the affiliate marketer standpoint. So from the affiliate writing a product review and making commissions off those product reviews. And we're also going to talk about it from the standpoint of helping your affiliates make money by reviewing your products. So if you're an affiliate manager or you run an affiliate program anyway, this is what we're going to talk about today. Both ways about how to do this. Now, before we move on, I want to point out two guides that I've got. All right, the first is for you affiliates, how to write a product review that actually ranks and converts. And we'll talk about that. Those are the two keys. I'm going to cover a lot of that in this episode, but if you want the written version and a template that you can use to create a product review, if you go to mattmcwilliams.com/review post, I'll put that link in the show notes. You can download that guide. Now, if you're an affiliate manager, you're running an affiliate program, and you want the review post guide for your affiliates, same concept, little bit different. There's a few tweaks that we made specifically for affiliate managers. And here's the cool thing. I am giving you permission to copy and paste everything in the guide and share with your affiliates. All right. If you go to mattmcwilliams.com/affiliate review, you can download that guide as well. All right. So make sure you go ahead and do those. They're in the show notes. Grab those. So here's the thing. This is the thing I love about product reviews. Product reviews allow you to succeed at affiliate marketing when you literally have no list. One of the best ways to succeed at affiliate marketing when you have no list getting started is product reviews. Now, are you going to build a multi-million-dollar business on product reviews? Probably not. Eventually, you'll want to grow a list. Actually, you could build a multi-million-dollar business on product reviews if you start building a list. But the very simple reason for this is it allows you to rank. You do a product review, and we'll talk about the strategy behind this. You show up on Google, and people come to your site. When I had literally a few subscribers when I first started, not literally the day I started, but when I started, a couple months in, I had maybe 75, 100, 200 subscribers, whatever it was. I thought I might have had more. I might have had like 300 or 400 actually. But I had a handful of subscribers basically. And I was doing these product reviews, about 7 or 8 of them. And I would make, as little as a few $100s in a year to as much as over $10,000 in a month from single product reviews. Add it all up, and I'm making quite a bit of money with virtually no list. Now, as I grew my list, of course, then I was able to market in other ways. Now, for you affiliate managers and business owners out there, here's the question. If I Google your company, if you go Google your company right now, what are you going to find? Are you going to find a bunch of people saying great things about you, saying great things about your products? Are you going to find a bunch of complaints? Because those Google reviews, most people don't post positive reviews of stuff, unfortunately. We tend to only review things when it's negative. What am I going to find? A bunch of positive stuff, bunch of negative stuff, or just nothing? And again, one of the easiest ways to get affiliates promoting and increase your brand visibility is to have affiliates write product reviews. Just imagine if you had 10, maybe 20, maybe some more posts on Google all saying great things about you. It only takes 10. That's the first page of Google. So if somebody types your product name in, you're going to hopefully rank number 1. Although I have written product reviews, by the way, they're ranked higher than the company's website. And I'll talk about how to do that in this episode. I'm not guaranteeing you're going to rank higher than the company's website. I'm just saying if you follow the principles that I teach, you'll be one of the top 3 product reviews. And if you follow the principles that I teach, 1 out of every 12 or so could rank higher than the company's website. I've probably done that 4 or 5 times. And it's the coolest thing in the world. Like literally, you search for the product, I'm the number 1 listing. And so, imagine if all you had was 10 That's the first page of Google. And they're saying great things about you. But here's the problem. Most of your loyal customers, most of your affiliates even, they don't know how to write a product review that ranks and converts. And that's key. You needed to rank high on Google. If a tree falls in the forest and nobody's there to hear, it doesn't make a sound. I don't know. So if it doesn't rank high, it's not going to get any traffic. If you're 13th on Google, you're going to get 2 hits a year, 5 maybe. On like a really competitive product, you might get as much as 30 whole hits. If you're number 1, 2, or 3, you could get anywhere, depending upon the product, from 100 to, there's a couple of reviews that I've written that we get over 3,000 hits a year. And these are $2,000 products for both of them that I'm thinking of. We convert 1 to 3%. So I make 50 times 1,000 times 40 or 50% commission. You do the math. It's really good money. So the key is you got to rank and it has to convert. If it ranks high, but the post is formatted and it's just ugly and it doesn't read well, you wrote it with all AI, it's just not going to convert very well. So you get 3,000 hits, but you convert 2 people. I'd rather get 200 hits and convert 10% of the people than get 3,000 and convert a quarter of 1%. So to understand the purpose of a product review, there's 2 main purposes. Number 1, it helps undecided buyers decide to buy. They're searching for this product review because they're on the fence. They are clearly interested. And you might even argue most people that are only 20% of the way there don't search for product reviews. They're somewhere between 30 and 99% of the way there. They're not sure. And the second thing is it helps the product creator, that's you if you're the affiliate manager, right, overcome objections using a third-party opinion. This is the beauty of this product review. It's a third-party opinion. I'm saying good things about this company, about this product, about this service. Go to the sales page, the person says good things about themselves. Whoop-de-doo. It's kind of like the difference between looking at a dating profile versus getting introduced to somebody. Of course they say great things about themselves on their dating profile, but this is how I met my wife, is a mutual friend introduced us and recommended us to each other. Said, you should go out with Tara, and said, Tara, you should go out with Matt. And fast forward, that was June 5th, 2008 was our first day, November 22nd, we were married. September 8th, we were engaged. Like, why? In part because of that third-party recommendation. So it overcomes those objections. Now, this is an episode that I do about every 2 to 3 years. I first did it back in 2010 in an old podcast of mine for an affiliate program I was running. I did it again 2014, 15. I did it in 2018. I did one in early 2021. And now here we are in late 2023. And I'm releasing this because there are new SEO, that's search engine optimization for those of you who don't know. There's new strategies. There's new research. I've got some new best practices. Since I last shared this in early 2021, there are new best practices to get your review post ranking and converting. So I have to share that new stuff. Now I'm going to cover some of the old stuff. Some of the principles, honestly, have not changed since 2010. I'm still going to cover those in this episode because you may be listening to this concept for the first time. All right, so how do you write a review post? And what is the strategy behind it? Well, I mentioned sometimes I rank higher than the product itself. I mentioned that roughly 2/3 of the review posts I write, I'm the number 1 ranked review post. I'd say the breakdown's probably 70% I'm number 1, 20% we're number 2 or 3, probably 8% we're in the 4 to 7 range, which is like we get a little bit of traffic, those are the ones that make us, quite frankly, like a couple $100 a month. And that's about it. I mean, on the high end, they make us maybe $3,000 a year. All right, that's on the high end. Ranked 2 to 3, they make us between, $3,000 and $10,000 a year. The ranked number 1s make us typically over $10,000 a year. A few of them are a little bit lower. Maybe they're lower price points, things like that, or other reasons. And then honestly, like the final 2 to maybe upwards of 5%, we don't rank anywhere near top 10. It does happen. Like, oh, you're teaching me all these things, and that means I might not. Yes, you might not rank anywhere remotely close to the top, 7 to 10. I mean, there are times we're outside the top 15. And you go, well, why do you claim to be an expert? Well, 19 out of 20 make us a considerable amount of money. 15 out of 20 make us a lot of money. And so it's a numbers game. If you write one product review and it doesn't rank well, or convert well, you don't give up on it. It's like if you go on one date, you don't, oh, all women are terrible, all men are terrible. Like, no, that's a terrible way to live life. You try one thing. You have one subscriber email you and say, you send too many emails, or I don't like your content. You don't stop writing emails. You don't stop emailing your list because one person said something stupid. So the big key is when you're first starting out, I recommend selecting products that have as little competition as possible. Again, we're relying on SEO. So your success completely depends on where you rank. The higher you rank, the more money you make. The more competition, the harder it is to rank high. The other thing is, one of the factors in SEO is age of the content and age of the domain. For you newbies, my domain's been around since I bought it in 2003. Oh my gosh, 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. I think I bought it in like November or December of 2003. So I've had this domain for 20 years. I've been publishing content on it regularly since 2011. I have over roughly 100 posts a year times 12 years. I've got 2,400 pieces of content on there. Probably more than that. I'd have to look in WordPress. I'm actually kind of curious. I may do that after this, but I know it's well over 2,400 posts. I have all this stuff on there, right? And then I wrote my post 3 years ago about this product. And you try to come in with a domain that's 8 months old. You've got 6 posts and your post was written last week. I'm going to outrank you. I'm going to destroy you, as a matter of fact. There's no way you're going to compete with me. But if you come into a product with very little competition, maybe they're doing a big product launch, it's the first time this launch has ever happened. This is one of the keys. And you write the product review, you can by default be one of the top 5. So that other product, there's probably a lot of competition and all these things. Not only are you not going to beat me in the number 1 spot, but you're not even going to beat the number 12 guy. Like, it's just impossible. It's really hard to come in. But if you come in and you're one of only 6 people who's writing a product review and you follow what I teach in this episode, you're going to be one of the top 3 for sure. So by default, you're one of the top 6. There's only 6 people who are writing them. But following these best practices, because I know how to do this, you're going to be ranked pretty high. And if you happen to be an older domain than 2 of them, well, you're going to rank higher than those 2. And let's say that you write a better post, you're going to rank higher than those, and all these factors start adding up. I mean, the review posts that I've written that I mentioned that have performed poorly were almost always due to there being too much competition. So take a moment, search for products, see if there are any other reviews. And if not, then you want to follow what I teach. If there is a lot of competition, I'm not suggesting you can never write a product review about it, just not now. So again, as we jump into the how-to, the goal here is to write a post that, number 1, ranks high on Google. Number 2, people actually want to read. Okay, so it's not a bunch of keyword stuffing, poorly written garbage, right? So here are the criteria. We're going to go through 1 through 19. Okay, I've got 19 things to share with you. Number 1, aim for between 2,000 and 4,000 words. This is the sweet spot that we found. Anything less than 2,000 words, and it's really hard to rank high. Again, I'm speaking in terms of if we're competing against some people. Sometimes you could write anything and you could rank number 1 or 2 for those keywords just by default. There are review posts that I've written that have made me in excess of $50,000 that were under 2,000 words. But I was also the very first person to review a very new product. I'm thinking of one in particular that it launched in December of 2013 or 14. And I wrote a review post and I was number 1 and I was number 1 for a year. So here I am, I've got a domain that's like 10 years old and this post is a year old and it only had maybe 1,600 words. And it was a year before anybody else wrote a review post. So I'm still number 1 for that search term. And I've gone in and updated that post and it's now closer to 3,000 words if I'm not mistaken. But I had it for probably 3 years that I ranked number 1, and I've never ranked lower than number 1, but I was number 1 for 3 years with less than 1,700 words probably. So anything less than 2,000 words typically, and it's really hard to rank high. Again, if you happen to find one of those unicorns, so you could write 300 words and rank high, but try to get at least 2,000. Anything more than 4,000, no one reads it. 4,000 words is like an entire chapter in a book. No one wants to read that online. Like they're searching for quick information. So to 4,000 words. My target is usually right in that middle, right around 3,000. Number 2, break up the text a lot. So for me, again, we're writing a 3,000 word post. You cannot just have like 3 1,000 word blocks of text. You cannot have just one long thing of 3,000 words. When I write a 3,000 word post, the very typical thing is I'll have 6 sections of 500 words, roughly. Again, you can get the template that shows you what to put in there. All right. The template will walk you through exactly what should be in this post. And it's typically going to be about 6 sections of 300 to 700 words per section. But then I write paragraphs that are 3 sentences max. So there's some white space. Then I insert images and other graphics to break up the text. Sometimes it's just as simple as a call out box. I did a review post the other day. The funny thing is I wrote it and I released it at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And this is one that's in I would say a moderately competitive one. I released it at 11 o'clock, 11:04 to be specific in the morning. When I checked at 4:30 that afternoon, it was the 5th ranked review post. And there's probably 40 to 50 review posts. It's not like super competitive, but 40 to 50 is still some competition. I was ranked 5th. And I had not inserted images yet. Not a ton of images. I'd inserted like 5 images, but I wanted to insert more, but I wanted to get this thing released because it's for an upcoming launch. And so one of the ways I just broke up the text was there were some fun facts. I'm not going to give away what it was, but there's like some, did you knows? And so I broke up the text like 4 or 5 times with just like a fun fact, blah, 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 blah. Did you know, yada, 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 right? And so my goal is to aim for breaking up the text roughly every 100 to 200 words. So in those 6 sections of 500, if I literally write a section with, say, 600 words, I want to break that up 2 times. So there'll be the subheader, that's a break. Then there'll be the text. Then I'll break it up with like an image and then text, then maybe like a fun fact and then text. And then there'll be another subheader, which is a break. And then in that section, maybe that section's 400 words, I'll break it up once in the middle, roughly. And again, it's not an exact science. I don't break it up unnaturally. And sometimes I really struggle. I'm like, how could I break this up? What could I put here? And I'll have to think, is there like a song lyric or is there something? Is there a YouTube video that could go here? What could I put here? And I have to get creative about what to do, but break up the text often. Number 3, speaking of images, you got to name your images well. All right, there is SEO value to the images. So you want to make sure the file name and the alt tags are keyword optimized. Keyword optimized, not keyword stuffed, okay? So we're not going to name the image something stupid, like screenshot 1. We're not going to name it something stupid, basically, right? So if your review is about, I'm just looking around, my gym is right here in view of my office, and I've got the Concept 2 rowing machine, right? Great rowing machine, love using it. It's awesome. All right, so I'm writing a review about the Concept 2 rowing machine, and I'm doing a review of this. Now, this is probably a pretty competitive one in that niche because, pretty popular, but whatever. I would name the image something like Concept 2, because it's the number 2, not TWO. So Concept 2 rowing machine PNG, something like that. And then I would name another image, maybe like review Concept 2 rower or something along those lines. You want to have some variety, but focus on the keywords that you want to optimize for. Just don't stuff it too much, right? You may want to have some that are like Concept 2 exercise something, something like that. And then with your alt tags, same kind of thing. I would like some of the alt tags to say like Concept 2 rowing machine review. Should I buy the Concept 2 rowing machine? Things like that. So again, use your keywords well. Name your images well. You definitely should never have a screenshot, the date.png garbage like that. All right, number 4, link often to the product. Make sure you give people multiple opportunities to click over to the product through the review. There are a couple reasons for this. Number 1, you don't want them to have to read 1,000 words before they finally get to the link. You want to give them opportunities. If they're convinced, link. Roughly at about the same pace that I'm going to break up the text, maybe a little bit less often. I'll typically work in between 8 and 12 links in a 3,000 word post. So actually, yeah, that's about every 250 words or so. I'm going to put a link in there. I'm going to do it early and often, and certainly at the end. And secondly, so this is number 5, use good anchor text. Anchor text is, if you don't know, is the text that the link appears in. So when I link, don't link to click here. Click here is not what you're optimizing for. If you buy the Concept 2 rowing machine through my link Concept 2 rowing machine. And that adds on when you do that. It's one of the little keys. If you think about this as like an algorithm is one way, but if you think about this as like a scoring system, and the goal, if you want to rank number 1, you've got to get, and there's no exact formula to this, but you've got to get 175 points, right? And if you link a certain number of times, but not so many times, then you get 5 points for that ranking. And so linking often and using proper anchor text is super important. One of the things is you got to mix it up though. So don't use the exact same anchor text in every link. They will consider that keyword stuffing and it'll actually penalize you. All right, number 6, link to your review from as many places as you can. One of the simplest ways is just, I put like product reviews on my homepage. At the bottom of my site, when you go there, it's like products I recommend, and I've got links to the reviews. That way Google can index it right away. Like I'll write a couple of social media posts. So it finds it on social media, and I'll write that and I'll link to it from my social media. If I'm talking about something, and if I write a blog about fitness, then I'm going to link to my Concept 2 review post, probably, every 6 months or so. And again, make sure you use slightly different anchor text, here's the thing. You might not use different anchor text in every single one because you might not remember what you've used before. But as long as you don't use the exact same anchor text every single time, you're going to be fine. All right, number 7, don't be afraid to be personal, to get personal. Make yourself relatable. Show how something like the Concept 2 rowing machine. By the way, this episode is sponsored by the Concept 2 rowing machine. I should be getting a commission from this, is all I'm saying, because it is a great rowing machine. Show how something can help others by sharing your own personal story. Transformational stories are the best way to sell. So if you have a before and after photo, share it. If you have a before and after story, share it. I did a review post. This is actually the one that I was talking about that it wasn't super long. And I first wrote it back in 2014. Then I updated it, I think in 2017. Let me just share what I wrote. It says update. Since originally writing this review, I've had more than a year to process the information in the course. Here's a quick update. In 2011, I was fired from a good, high-paying job. In 2014, in part thanks to this guy's course, I paid more in taxes than I made in all of 2011. Do I believe in this course? You bet. That's why I'm offering some killer bonuses worth $598 below, blah, 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 right? So first of all, I tied it into the bonuses and I sold it, but I used my transformational story. I was fired, and then I went through this course and I made 3 times more money 2 years later. That's a great transformational story, right? All right, number 8. This is a technical one. You've got to enable comments on the post. All right, it used to be that Google didn't care, that if you had comments enabled, disabled, didn't matter. But back in 2021, this is actually after I did the last episode on this, over 2 years ago, Google's John Mueller, so he's one of the heads of SEO there, said that if you remove comments from your posts, which is actually a very common practice on review posts, there's reasons why you would want to, but again, I'm just telling you what he says, may adversely impact search rankings. That is an exact quote, adversely impact search rankings. In other words, Google is factoring in comments into your rankings. So again, I mentioned before, it's a sliding scale, it's an algorithm. And if the goal is to get to 150 points, let's say that enabling comments is worth 5 points. Does that mean you can't beat me if I have comments enabled? Absolutely not. It just means you've got to do a lot of other stuff better. So why not get the full amount? It might be a race to 180 points. Maybe somebody else is competing with you and they're doing everything right. And the only thing that separates you is they enable comments and you don't. You will rank below them. Why would you want to do that? So enable comments. Between us, I get like 1 comment per post per year that I have to answer. And usually they're just asking a silly question like, I live in Europe. Can I buy this? Absolutely. Okay, great. I bought it. There you go. All right, another technical one. Number 9, make sure your page is fast loading. Again, the faster your page loads, the higher you will rank. So if we're doing things pretty equal and my page loads a little bit faster than yours, I will rank higher and vice versa. So again, I don't know what this is worth, but let's just say it's worth 10 points. Because if you think about it from Google's perspective, the reason why they have a reputation as the search engine is why? Because we get what we're looking for and we have a pleasant experience when we do so. And if your website is slow, they are not delivering what they want to their audience and they will drop you down. They don't want you to rank high. It's not in their best interest. So a faster loading website, that is an absolute must. 9 times out of 10, the problem with slow loading pages, not slow loading websites, but slow loading pages, is images that are too high resolution. So if you can use something, there's all kinds of plugins, Smush is one of them, there's others. If you reduce the file size by half or sometimes even 90%, it only reduces the quality by like 2%. So you're not even going to notice it unless you're putting up your website on a big screen TV. 1 to 2%, 3% reduction in quality is nothing on an image. Even on the Retina displays, it's nothing. But the page load, I mean, think about it, if you have 10 images on there, I talked about breaking the text up with images for one. You've got 10 images. And let's say they take collectively 3 seconds to load. And you reduce it by 90%. Now they take 0.3 seconds to load. How much of a difference that makes? So that's the biggest reason. If you need good host, that's the other thing is your host. If you're on $9.95 hosting, shared hosting with certain companies, it's not going to cut it. This is a business you're running. So if you need a good host, I highly recommend Agathon. I will link to them in the show notes. They're our hosts. I'm going to tell you, they are not cheap. You do not need to pay what we pay. We pay like $200 a month. You do not need to pay more than $200 a month. But for $40 or $50 a month, no, I can't afford that. Okay, what's it worth to you? You make one additional sale of any $1,000 course, you pay $50 a month, $600 a year, which you're already paying, say, $200 a year. So you're going to pay $400 more. If you make one additional sale of a $1,000 course at a 40% commission, you just paid for it. Not to mention your site loads faster than everybody else. And that's if you make only one additional sale. If every one of your review post rankings, let's say they go up an average of a half a spot, you will make considerably more than you spend. So it's a good investment. So again, there's a lot of great hosts out there. We just happen to recommend Agathon because they're super easy to work with. And personally, I just love that I don't have to worry about the tech stuff. Like when we want to buy a domain and get WordPress set up, I just email them and say, buy this domain and set up WordPress, and they do it for me. So I don't have, we never log into the back end. We had an issue recently. I just called them and said, fix this, please. And they did. All right. Number 10, strategy as far as the content of the post. We're going to get into that now. Number 10 overall, but number 1 in this section, make it clear that the product is not a magic pill. One of the phrases that I often put when I'm selling courses, I say, you're going to have to work your butt off for this product to work. I make it clear, this is not like a magic thing. Like, oh, this course is going to make you a millionaire and you're like to sit on your hammock all day. No. And I kind of use it as a challenge. I use it as a positive. They're like, oh, you don't think I can work my butt off? Man, just watch me. I'm going to work my butt off. I'm going to take this course. And, next thing you know, I made $1,000. So we're making it clear the product is not a magic pill. It does not solve all their problems overnight. All right. Number 11, got to give them ways to contact you. This just like the comments. Number 1, this will help you rank higher. Again, out of 150 points that you've got to get, maybe this is worth 1 or 2 points, but that could be 1 or 2 spots in the rankings. Secondly, when you give them a way to contact you, you can sell. So use live chat, use Facebook, give them a phone number. I use Google Voice. Don't give them your actual cell phone number so people can contact you. Even if they don't use the methods, this is why it ranks higher. It builds trust and they're more likely to buy online. And then when you have a phone number on the page, it actually increases your online conversions, even though they don't use it. I'll get a text. Usually I get 1 or 2 texts. These, again, are people that are 95% of the way there. Why would they Google a review, find my review, read all the way to the bottom of the review, and then text me if they weren't already 95% of the way there? And they have one question. And they ask the question, I answer it, and they buy. It takes me 2 minutes, and I make $1,000. Again, I don't know about you, but I do not make $30,000 an hour. So to spend 2 to 3 minutes to make $1,000 is a really good investment of my time. So just use a Google Voice. You don't have to get your cell number or use live chat or something and put it on there. All right, 12, you've got to have bonuses. You got to sweeten the pot. You've got to offer compelling bonuses. Not only does it attract people because they see it in the title. I usually put the dollar amount of my bonuses in the title of the post So they go, ooh. And then I put it early on in the post. In fact, I tell them they can skip the review and just go straight to the bonuses and see those. And not only does that attract people, not only does it close sales, but it gets them into my stuff, which makes them a customer long term for some of my stuff. This helps you get traffic because a lot of people bonus shop. I found that only about upwards of 10% of people bonus shop, but they go and they look up reviews, they look up bonuses. That's another key word you probably want to rank high for. It's why I always include the word bonuses in the title and throughout, but it adds a little extra value for purchasing through your link, which means they're more likely to go, you know what, I'm done. I'm done shopping. I'm here. This is the guy or the girl. I want to buy stuff through this person, not, now I'm going to go back to Google and look for some more. They're probably never coming back. All right, number 13, use paid advertising to drive traffic to your review. Now, the first thing I hear when I talk about paid advertising, I can't afford paid ads, Matt. I can't do that. I can't spend a bunch of money, with no guarantee of return. Don't worry. If you do this right, it is going to be extremely profitable. Again, when people search for a review versus just searching for terms, like if they search for good rowing machines, they might, in their mind, rowing machine might cost $100. They're not a super qualified prospect. But if they search for the Concept 2 rowing machine, they've already seen that it has 4.8 stars on Amazon. I don't know what it has on Amazon, but it's probably pretty high. And they've probably already read like some customer reviews on Amazon or other sites. And now they're Googling it. They are an extremely qualified prospect. So you're going to spend a couple bucks to get a click. And then you're sending them to a high converting review. Let's say you make $100 commission per sale and you spend $2 per click and you only convert 1 out of 25. So 1 out of 25, you're going to spend $50 to make 100. If there were a machine where you could put $50 in and then get $100 out, how often would you put $50 into that machine? I would do it all day long. I would just sit there and do it. That would be my new full-time job, of course. So use paid advertising. Number 14, I touched on this earlier, but share the pros and the cons. You are not trying to just make this a glowing review. People are coming here looking for clarity. Yeah, they're 90% of the way there, 95% of the way there sometimes. But if you say, honestly, is this right for me? And you say, here are some of the issues that I had with this product. Number one, you're doing them a service. You're doing them a solid by saying, you know what? If you're over 6'6", this rowing machine is not for you. My husband's 6'8" and he can't stand it. Well, here's the thing. If they're 5'11", they're going, all right, this is probably for me. So you use the negative kind of in a positive. And secondly, you save somebody from the trouble of buying something that they don't want. It comes across more authentic. So I always put, like when I review a course, I say, hey, here are the positives. Boom, I love this, I love this, I love this. Here are 2 of the negatives. Number one, it's really hard to search in the system. Like I can't find anything. I have to kind of go through it sequentially or remember where it was. That's a negative. It's not a big negative for me, but it is a negative. And number 2, this is not for beginners. So don't buy this if you're a beginner. What does that say? It's not for beginners. Oh, this is more advanced. I'm more advanced. I'm going to buy this. All right, number 15, add a video review. All right, for years, I would have advised against this because a lot of people were fearful of, it's called the duplicate content penalty from Google. All right, this is when Google penalizes you for creating the same content multiple times. So if I write 2 reviews in the hope that they'll rank higher, but there's pretty much the same content, Google's like, we're going to penalize you. Actually, neither one of those is going to rank. But again, right after I released this episode the last time in 2021, John Mueller, if you remember him from earlier, the comments one from Google, specifically said that identical content published in different formats. So you've got a video and a blog post, a podcast and a video, a podcast and a blog post. It's not considered duplicate content. So here's what you do. You do a video review. I'm going to tell you right now, I read the script. I write the review, then I read the review with a little bit of extra personality in it. Add a few words here and there and some asides. And then I embed it on the page. So most people are not going to watch the review. But for the 5 to 10% who do, and I usually rank number 1 for the video reviews, and that embedding it on that review post gives it a little bit of extra SEO juice for the video. Now I've got 2 of the top spots, and I cannot tell you how many times out of the first 5 listings, I've had 2 of the top 5. My written post will be, say, number 1 or number 2, and my review video will be number 4, something like that. I'll have 2 of the top 3, 4, 5 listings on Google when people search for a product review. I mean, I'm dominating it. All right, number 16, and this is a new one. The next two are also new. So just like the comments and doing a video, the next two are brand new from the last time I did it. And that is emphasize your author authority. This is due to the rise in AI content. So this is brand new over the last year or so. Google is putting a premium on content produced by real people. So make sure you include author biographies and link to the author, usually you, social media profile, so they are sure that it is written by a real person. John Mueller made this very clear last year, 2023, toward the end of last year, made it very clear. So just simply put an author biography and link to like social media profiles. That's enough to emphasize that author authority. Speaking of AI, number 17 is be extremely careful with AI generated content. AI can be an extremely great tool. We use it all the time. But you got to be very careful because Google knows, you might not believe this, but Google knows what is AI generated, what is written by humans. They know. They can spot them a mile away. So be careful. My recommendation is, so I might talk through some ideas for a product review and record myself speaking, generate the transcript, and then use AI to write that and categorize it. I use AI a lot for categorizing things and kind of giving me some inspiration and then tweaking it. And it does about half the work, half of the difficult work, but the content is generated by me. That's how I would use it if I were you on these, because they can tell. And they will, again, on that point scale, are they going to penalize you if you have a couple of sentences that they say, ooh, that's a little bit AI generated? Yeah. How much? I don't know. Maybe they'll dock you 1 point for every sentence. Well, you lost 4 points. Again, that might drop you down 2 spots. This is a race to see who can get the 150 mythical points. Just to be clear, that's a number I made up. I'm just using that as an example. And you think, oh, losing 4 points out of 150, not a big deal. It is if you now have 128 and the 2 posts above you have 129 and 132 respectively. So just think of that when you use AI. All right, number 18, update the post regularly. Google loves content that is updated at least periodically. Like a good rule of thumb is that if a review is for an annual product launch, here's what we do as a team. If it's for an annual product launch, like it only launches once a year, about 6 months prior to launch, we'll do an update. About 2 months prior, 1 month prior, and a few days before the cart opens, we'll update that. So about 4 times, maybe 5. If it's an evergreen product, again, about 4 times a year, every 2 to 3 months. Small updates are all that's needed. I'll add a quick little section. So I'll go into the who it's for, and I'll add a new who it's for. After watching this for a couple of years, I realized this is also really good for senior citizens who want to lose weight or whatever. Or I'll divide like the who it's for, and I'll take coaches and consultants and divide it into coaches and then consultants and make it 2 sections. That's a small update. I'll add a new picture, maybe new screenshots that I name properly, of course, but I'll update the images from inside the course dashboard or of the product itself because I wrote the review 5 years ago and the product's changed. So that's all you got to do. Just update it regularly. And number 19, link to your own internal content in the post. This is something, admittedly, that I have forgotten. And as I made notes for this episode, I went back to check our content. And sure enough, we have not done it enough. And I told our team about this. Make sure that you aren't only linking to external links, like in the post, that you're not just linking to the product. That's an unnatural way of linking. Think about when you write a regular post that's not a product review. You'll link to a blog post that you wrote, a podcast episode that you did, a video that you did, and then a product that you like, and then a podcast episode, and then a blog post, and then a product that you like, and then a book that you read, and then and so on. Right? There's some variety. So just find a couple of instances in the post, keyword rich, where you link to some of your own content. Number 1, it'll help the SEO of that content, so there's no thing there. Number 2, they might go to that and find some new content and subscribe to your website, and yay, you got a new subscriber. And number 3, it makes it look more natural, which again, I don't know. Is that worth 1 point out of 150? Probably at most. It's worth 1 or 2. But again, 1 or 2 points can make the difference between ranking number 1 and number 3. So 19 things. What does it look like when you put it all together? What does it look like when you take all of this information, put it all together? Again, I mentioned that guide. Grab the guide. How to write a product review post that ranks and converts. MattMcWilliams.com/review post. I've updated the original guide. I released it in 2019. I did the first update in 2021, and I just updated it literally just in the last couple of weeks with brand new information on SEO. And we're going to continue to update it. So grab it, and then I'll let you know when we update it. There's no rhyme or reason to every 2 years. I update it when it needs to be updated. So if Google releases an update in April of 2024, I'm going to update it in April or early May of 2024 with the latest research, the latest best practices to get your review post ranking and converting. Plus, like I said, I've got a template inside that allows you to see exactly how one of these posts is laid out, not only for ranking, but actually converting into clicks and sales. That's the key. And you affiliate managers, go to mattmcwilliams.com/affiliate review. Again, both these links are in the show notes. You can download the version for affiliate managers to share with your affiliates. I am literally giving you permission to download the guide and give it to your affiliates so they can write their own review posts, or use it yourself. You can write some review posts as well. So again, just check out the show notes. I've got links to both of those. This guide it's helped tens of thousands of affiliates write high-ranking, high-converting product reviews. Now you get to have your affiliates doing the same, or do it yourself, right? So I'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions about review posts, text me at 260-217-4619. 260-217-4619. If you got any questions about review posts or anything else, if you just want to share your biggest takeaway with me, or share a link to a review post that you write over the next couple of weeks as a result of this episode and grabbing that guide, text me anytime. Just let me know. Love to hear from you there. And then lastly, make sure you hit subscribe, because the next episode, I'm going to be sharing my predictions for next year, for 2024. All of my bold, sometimes outrageous, but I'm pretty accurate. I'm batting like 97% over the last 5 years with this episode. I've been monumentally wrong a couple of times. And most of that was around COVID. Like half the predictions I made for 2020 were just flat out wrong. Again, half the predictions people made about everything in 2020 were wrong. But I'm going to be making some predictions about the future and some pretty cool stuff. We're going to be talking a lot about AI and voice search and some other cool concepts in affiliate marketing that are just starting to take shape this year. And I'm going to be making predictions for 2024. So make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss that episode. I'll see you then. Thank you so much for listening today. Remember to check out all of our deep dives into affiliate marketing at theaffiliateguide.tv. And if you have a question, ask it at asktheaffiliateguide.com. Who knows? Maybe you even be featured on an upcoming episode. And lastly, if you haven't yet, make sure to leave a rating and review wherever you're listening to this episode. See you soon.